weekend. Ira Epstein with your weekend edition of your SPDR ETF video for this Friday, and we're at the 7th of February, 2020, just after 4:30 p.m. Central Time. So let's understand what we're dealing with. Throw away all your fundamentals, throw away all the good jobs data we had today. This weekend is going to be how much news comes out of China concerning is the spread of coronavirus moving on, and where Wuhan is it getting worse? Now, worse is an interesting word. Remember, more testing kits are being made available. So the numbers may go up, but the real question is it getting worse? Or are we just testing for more and getting better results? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but you're going to hear about it. And through the weekend, that will be the thing that I'm worried about. What are they going to come out with? We can see a mixed board behind us. Excuse me. Gold up. The typical safe havens were working. You had bids in the gold. TLT did well today, so you're getting people moving into bonds and notes. They're coming out, let me do it right here, of the QQQ, the SPY, those got sold off a little bit, all right? And in the foreign currency, it was a mixed bag with the yen getting a bid, the dollar up, and most other currencies down against it. So as we take a look at a weekly bar chart, that's what we're going to do right here. You can see how the market's got a pattern of higher lows, higher highs, right into the Bollinger Band where it's been going. Notice how the market has been hitting that band, backing off, hitting it. I don't see that pattern changing unless there's a real fundamental change. Obviously, that could be something to do with the supply chains that affect technology companies out of China. I just don't know. But right now, the trend up, momentum locked in, and until you take out 94.71, this pattern remains bullish. When we come over on the weekly bar to the industrial sector, you stepped out of the trend. Last week, you broke through this low. You have a higher high. You're just right now marching back and forth. The momentum has turned to the downside. It sort of flattened today with the big rally. Actually, this whole week is in this weekly chart. It flattened out because you had such a dramatic run to the upside in the stock indices, and trade, of course, is still looking good in the U.S. The question is, when do we see the first impacts hitting these supply chains? That's going to be the real word, and it's going to impact people in different areas. We know the auto manufacturers, you're going to see other parts, technology, and you've got to be ready for that. Energy's been impacted. This is all past tense. It's been getting hit and hit hard. The energy is waiting to see, does Russia join with OPEC or not in trying to cut production? Are they too late? And I think that's what Russia's wondering. Just what do they do? Libya, if it reaches a truce within itself, because there's a civil war going on, they could bring back 1 million barrels a day. So is Russia just helping them produce the oil and hit the world market? A lot of questions here. You're under the Bollinger Band. Let's just throw the name of the chart away and throw that sector part of thinking about the sector. As a chartist, do you want to be short under a Bollinger Band? And the answer is typically no, you don't. You can do better areas. So that's where I'm at. I am one that is saying the trend is down. I think the quote-unquote easy part of the trade ended when you hit these numbers. You're a bit extended now, and it's rare to go more than 5 times in a row under a Bollinger Band, and you're about 3 right now. So you're getting to that point. Caution, but I'm also now putting the name back on it. I understand the word coronavirus. In the NASDAQ, the market doesn't care. It's really simple. On the weekly charts, you keep going up to new all-time highs, and this is a great all-time high close, still an uptrend. Not quite with the emerging markets. This is the market you got to be a bit cautious about. Why? This pattern's interesting. Even if you spike to the upside, you'd have a lower high, right? A lower low and then a higher high if you spiked up and hit the Bollinger top. What if you drop first and just take out this week's low? The way that swing lines work, you would have lower highs. You already have the lower low. You'd be in a downtrend, and a possible target would be right there in the 6,600, 6,611 zone. In the gold, while the daily charts are churning, the weekly chart remains one with higher lows, higher highs, staying over the 18-week moving average of closes, the bias up. You've got the trend up, but you are what? You're not overbought. Why? On weekly charts, we don't look to see if you're overbought or oversold. Momentum is up, neutral, or pointing down. One of the three, the way I teach it. This momentum is now still pointing up. In the gold miners, the GDX, they have pulled back into this neutral area of the 18-week average of closes. They will turn possibly down. Now, let me show you. We get here to the high right through here is 29.66. We come back to the high before it, which was 29.87. So the pattern is one of temporarily, and could stay this way, higher lows and lower highs. So the market is narrowing in. It turns out now bearish if you take out 27.68, then you'd have lower highs and lower low. And if you closed under on the weekly basis 27.75, watch out. That could put you in line for the lower Bollinger Band test again. So where are we tonight? Pretty neutral position. In TLT, this market's gotten quite a bid. The question is, can it get up and challenge these highs? We understand what's working on world markets. What's working on world markets is world interest rates. There's a tendency now for them to drop. What are foreign countries going to be doing? They're going to be looking to add stimulus to their economies at the right time. Australia's caught, New Zealand's caught. They're all waiting to see, and where they should pull the help for the economies is when this coronavirus is either peaking or peaked. Then they get the most bang for their buck. But they're not going to raise rates. They're going to lower them, and that puts pressure on the U.S. What's it going to be able to do? Are we raising rates as the rest of the world goes down? It's an interesting thesis, but I'm a chartist. And as a chartist, I've got a lower low, higher high. I'm into resistance on the weekly chart. Supports back at the 18-week average of closes. This market throws out a bull pattern by just taking out this week's high. Even though it's into the upper Bollinger Band, it would give you the higher highs, higher lows. Do I ever tell you to buy over a Bollinger Band or sell under one? The answer is no. If I do, slap me across the face. I shouldn't do that. In the USO, the energy ETF, this is called a vertical decline. If you catch it, God bless you, but how? I mean, the market just went straight down week after week. This is just a break. If you took out 1152, you broke the trend. It hasn't looked back, and now you're down to that lower band. This is where typically I expect to see short covering, and I haven't changed my opinion on that, so we'll see what that does. So you put it all together. You're trying to figure out your game plan, and I've got to tell you, what you're counting on right now is what is the news of the weekend. Look at the futures, because Sunday night they're going to give you an idea of how the market is interpreting whatever the news on the coronavirus is. On its own, U.S. economic data is good, but we're an island right now amongst all these countries that are in trouble at this point. You know, one of the things that I like to teach are these technical indicators. Now, if you're new to trading and you want to learn them, I have the guide to technical indicators, volumes 1 and 2. I also have a trading course, and it's all video. You see what I do, you do the same thing. You can get these guide to technical indicators by going to our website under free offers. If you want to learn more about trading, go to our website under the word education. It tells you all about the charting course, all the offers that it includes. It's one of the ways that you can lose these indicators that you see me working with, and you'll at least learn my technique from it, and you should be able to do something similar. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good weekend. Go right there. We'll see you come Monday.